Just when I thought I was fully done with top 10s for Scarlet and Violet for a bit, an idea occurred to me. With all the videos we did back in December with Scarlet and Violet, ranking the gym leaders, how strong is Geeta, etc., I realized I didn't cover what the hardest battles were. I asked you guys on a community post what you consider to be the hardest battles in the games. And based on the info you guys gave me on top of my own experiences, I think I came up with a pretty solid list of what the hardest battles were. With that, let's count down these battles. Before we begin though, we have another brand new exclusive series over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts where I cover my top 5 favorite Pokemon of each typing. A new typing will go up every Saturday, so if you've always wanted to know what my favorite Pokemon were, head on over there. Also over on Mystic Reads, we have another new part to the Yaju Sanin, a Naruto fanfic. Both these channels will be in the description below and iCard above. Starting off at number 10 is Poppy. In my honest opinion, she is the most difficult of all the Elite Four battles. Before you come at me and tell me Larry is, don't worry, he's gonna be up to bat pretty quick. I don't find the flying type all that difficult to take down, but steel types are known for being one of the best types in the game. She has a couple of relatively hard hitters being Magnezone, having some defensive tanks like Corviknight, and then even more offensive power with the likes of Tinkaton. If you don't have a solid fire type mon or ground type, she could give some players a bit of trouble. However, if you have a mon like Skeledirge, then this battle should be easy peasy. The majority of the battles in Scarlet and Violet aren't super difficult, but it just so happens when you have a variety of battles to pick from, one of them has to be number 10 on this list. So out of these hardest battles, I think Poppy belongs here, just due to her steel typing and that alone. Now next up, we do have Larry, but not his Elite Four team, his Gym Leader rematch team. I wouldn't necessarily say I struggled against Larry, but he does have a solid Pokemon in Staraptor. Staraptor and Braviary are definitely his two most threatening Pokemon. Two fast and powerful hitters. But the difference between Braviary and Staraptor, like I mentioned to you guys in my Gym Leaders video, is the fact that Staraptor has Intimidate. And even without Reckless, it still hits really freaking hard. You might say bring in a fighting type, but with Intimidate, you guys already know the drill. Unless of course you're using a special attacking fighting type. Surprisingly, despite what I said about his only two threatening mons being Staraptor and Braviary, the rest of the team is pretty well balanced. But that Staraptor is the reason why he is at number 9 primarily. Up at number 8, we have Ortega. I did struggle against Ortega, but it was due to the fact I was personally underleveled. Objectively, he has a pretty solid team with fairy types, and they're all pretty defensive. His hardest hitter without the Starmobile is definitely his Azumarill, which sports huge power, backed up by Aqua Tail and Play Rough. The rest of his mons take hits pretty well, but like all star members, he has Revavroom. Revavroom in pretty much all the Team Star battles all posed at least a little bit of difficulty, in my opinion anyways. Ortega's just happened to be the one to give me the second most amount of trouble. I say second because there is one more Revavroom on this list. At number 7, we have the final battle with Arven, which a lot of you in the community post were saying gave you some trouble. Funny enough, in my own personal experience, I didn't really have a lot of issues, but I know why some people could have. The two Pokemon on his team that seemed to be talked about the most were his Garganacl and Mabosstiff. Garganacl has ridiculously high defense and pretty solid HP, so I can see how it would be a pain in the ass to take out, especially because it can hit back pretty dang hard with a pretty impressive 100 base physical attack stat. That thing's moveset is pretty deadly too, especially with Stone Edge and Body Press. His Mabosstiff also had some pretty coverage too, plus the fact that Dark-type Terra smacks pretty hard. So while Arven didn't give me a lot of trouble with these two mons, I can see how some people initially did struggle against him. Wrapping up the first half of my list is my favorite gym leader of all time, Iono. I'd go in the details as to why she's amazing and whatnot, but I've done that enough in December. Her team only has one weakness, being ground. Two of her mons on that team are actually immune to ground attacks. 3 out of Iono's mons are also super fast, and it can hit you fast and hard if you're not careful. If her Miss Magius has the opportunity to set up a charge beam, that could mean trouble. I just wish it had Thunderbolt to take advantage of the Terra stab more. Her Mismagius is deadly though, and I can remember it gave me a bit of trouble myself. But due to her team's speed, this already makes her threatening than all the other gym leaders aside from this next one. That gym leader is of course Rhyme. If you saw my rank in the gym leaders video, you guys have a general idea of what I'm talking about. Right off the bat, what makes her battle stick out more than the other gym leaders is the fact it's a double battle. Double battles are different than the traditional in-game battles the player is used to, unless of course you played Pokemon Coliseum. And with the Pokemon she has, this makes her even more threatening. Her team is actually disgusting, and it gave me the most challenge of all the gym leaders. For one, you have Mimikyu with its disguise ability, so no matter what, she will have the opportunity to use something on you at least once. Spiritomb only has one weakness, being Fairy, and Houndstone hits hard and takes hits hard. Houndstone is pretty deadly, and is honestly the reason why I ranked her the strongest gym leader on top of her battle being a double battle. But even with Rhyme's team, there are still 4 other battles in this game that I think top her despite being the top gym leader in my opinion. At number 4 is Airy, which a few of you guys were mentioning in the community post. 2 words, stamina and shift gear. That Starmobile wrecked me. Even with fairy types, her team is mostly prepared for them, and that Annihilate is no joke either. Facing her Starmobile after facing her team was what did it for me. If you also weren't able to KO her Pokemon in one move, that opportunity she has to hit you back could mean some issues. All her Pokemon hit hard, and it doesn't surprise me that some of you guys also struggled against her, despite how wholesome she is. At number 3 is the Titan Dondozo and Tatsugiri battle. This, to me, is the hardest Titan battle, and I believe it's due to the fact that it's 2-staged. After Dondozo swallowed Tatsugiri, I think it was definitely a little bit harder. I don't have a lot to say about it, but because I do consider it to be the hardest Titan battle, I felt I had to put it at number 3 because there were no Titans on the list, and I do think if unprepared, it can knock you on your butt. At the penultimate spot, we have Hassel's Ace Academy tournament team. Now, I personally never faced off against his team in this instance, but after seeing his full team and some of the stuff a few of you guys were saying, I can totally see why. All these dragons hit hard. Extreme Speed Dragonite, Baxcalibur, Haxorus, all these dragons are pretty freaking strong. Not to mention he came prepped for fairy types, with Ironhead on Haxorus and also having Dragalge. I also want to point out that his Noivern has access to Super Fang, which automatically does 50% to your entire HP. Also the fact that they're all level 70, yeah, I can see why now. I probably would have struggled a bit in the tournament if I faced him myself. And at the number 1 spot, I think it's no surprise to no one that Professor Turo and Sada are here. Rather than point out how each of their teams are deadly and whatnot, because we all know they are, the Paradox Pokemon were completely brand new in Area 0. And the fact a lot of people didn't know what the types were initially, I can say not having that knowledge played a big part in what made these battles difficult, no matter which version you chose to play. The Mons on their teams were also just stacked. The Paradox Pokemon are deadly, and due to the fact a lot of us didn't have a lot of time to figure out what their typings were, I feel that definitely played a part in why I struggled as well as others. Well, that wraps up what are in my opinion the hardest battles in Scarlet and Violet. Did you guys struggle with any of these battles, or did you struggle with some other ones? Let me know down below. We're finally here in 2023, and I'm super excited for what this year has to offer us. There's potential DLC for Scarlet and Violet on the horizon, and who knows just what else Game Freak may have up their sleeves. It's gonna be really exciting times coming up for a Pokemon fan. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. I've got a really fun series starting up there very soon, and of course, have a weekly edition of my Should You Use series focusing on Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Also, if you're into fanfictions and what-ifs, check out Mystic Reads. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content on there, so come join me. Thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you all next time.